Okay, this is Geometry Chapter 3, Section 1. You should have new notes. If you don't have them at home, you can print them off. They are available at the top of the page on the Schoology website for the Chapter 3 folder inside that Chapter 3 website page. Objective today, to identify relationships between figures in space, to identify angles formed by two lines and a transversal. Now, today's information is all about you guys identifying the names of the angles. Okay, as we go through, you're going to work with parallel lines and skew lines, but in parallel planes we're going to talk about a line that's called a transversal. A transversal is a line that crosses two or more lines, actually, and it creates angles when we do this. We have angles that we can actually name. We can talk about alternate interiors, same side interior. Hey, do you guys know what AKA is? You've never seen one of those like Most Wanted commercials, AKA. They're always telling you what the person's name is and also known as, okay? So AKA is also known as, but same side interior angles are also known as consecutive interior angles, okay? So depending on who writes the test or the quiz, and I'm not talking about myself, Minahan, and Gosha, I'm talking about whether it's written here at Elk River High School or through you know, your MCA or SAT, ACT, I'm concerned that you know the difference between it's like hello and hi, okay, when I talk about same side interior or consecutive interior. Then the last two are corresponding angles and alternate exterior angles. And pretty much that's what we're going to be going through today, okay? Now, parallel lines are coplanar lines that, maybe if I can actually have this come up, that do not intersect. The symbols used to show that two lines are parallel is the parallel symbol right there at the end of that line. And then skew lines. Skew lines are non-coplanar, okay? Basically, if two lines are not parallel, and notice how I'm talking about lines that don't cross. Two lines that are not parallel, and these lines don't intersect each other, and they're not parallel, they are skew, so long as they are different planes. And we'll talk about that more, but if you think about that top corner of where my classroom wall and ceiling come together, and you think about this vertical line right here going up, these are considered skew. Okay, I can't draw a plane between them, and they will never cross. Okay, so keep that in mind. Skew lines are great paths for airplanes. Okay, or for roads for that matter. Okay, we don't worry about an intersection. We don't worry about them crossing. There's like bridges over each other as we go through skew lines. Parallel planes are planes that do not intersect. Okay, they won't cross. It's like the ceiling of my classroom and the floor of my classroom. Okay. Questions about these? Now, make sure today, when you're doing your assignment, if you have questions, make sure you clarify them today. Okay, make sure you follow up on stuff because we'll have plenty of time to get that done. Maybe if this ever gets moving on. Okay, identify non-intersecting lines and planes in space. Okay, this is our first question. We have two today. Think of each segment in the diagram as part of a line. Which of the lines appear to fit the description? Well, my first description is parallel to line AB. So I've got AB, okay, going through here, okay, that contains D. I'm looking for a line that's parallel to AB that's going to contain D. Okay, ideas? DC. That's where we're going. We're going through parallel that contains D. Okay, now keep in mind we're going to do a lot of things containing D today. Okay, so I want you to be thinking about it, and sometimes you didn't see all of them, or maybe there might be a couple more, and I want you physically tapping on your notes as you go through them today, because when you do that you actually connect what's going on. People just write down the letters and stuff and then read it later. I want you to read it now so it makes more sense as we're going through today. Perpendicular to line AB. Now we got to make some assumptions here. That these planes are all perpendicular to each other. Okay, it's a nice little rectangular prism as what we're talking about, the representation of all this space coming together. But I'm looking at perpendicular to AB, so I got AB. It's perpendicular to AB, but going through point D. Any takers on that one? perpendicular point D. Mr. O'Hare. Yeah. Okay. So I'm looking at this one coming through here, so I'm looking at line AD. Now, I want you to try to answer letter C on your own. And think, what's skew to line AB and contains D? What's skew to line AB and contains D? Remember, skew, they don't cross. They're in different planes, and they are not parallel. Okay? Those are the requirements for things to be skewed. Go ahead, talk to your row partner about this one. Okay? Share at least your solution and see what's going on. Okay, so let's talk about this one. We're talking about skew to line AB. So AB, it's got to contain D. The following are skew. You okay with those so far? Okay. Did I forget F to D? So those four. Make sure you're okay with what's happening. They are lines that need to go through point D, and perhaps because I said they're lines, I should be putting arrowheads on them, but I did the lazy man's line, which is a little segment, okay? But keep in mind that if you put them in an order of DH, DG, or GD, and DE, and DF, they're still the same line, okay? Questions? Are we okay with those things that are skew? Skew lines are lines that do not intersect and are not parallel, okay? And they are in different planes. So those are requirements for a line to be skew. Now, name the planes that contain D. Okay, the planes that contain D. And remember, I do not have to have the name, in the name of the plane, the letter D, unless I use a four letter name of the plane. The basic is 3 letters to name the plane. And then the fourth, if I really want to be leading with you, it's like I'm put D in every one of them. But remember, as we go through, I've got this top plane, I got this side plane, and I got this side plane. And those all have point D going through them. And there are a couple others, okay, as I go through. I've got the top plane, I got ADH, that's that front plane, and I got HDC. HDC is the side plane, but I have got FGD. Thank you, dear. And I've got FGD as I go through. Okay. Are you okay with FGD? I'm going to draw in FGD. So I got FGD is this guy. And going back. Okay, and anything was coming through, I could probably also had a couple others coming through here, like that, doing that plane as well. But I did not include it. It was just, I didn't do all, I just did some. Are you all right where I'm going? Any follow-up questions with this? Now, remember, this is all about what makes planes parallel. Remember, if they're parallel, planes won't touch. It's nice you won't bump your head because the planes were not parallel as you walked into this room. As you've walked further one way or another, you might have to start stooping down, otherwise your head would, get hit. Some stairways. Okay, when you're going down them right at the bottom, depending on how old the home is, you have an issue with bumping your head because the planes aren't quite right. Okay, but remember, parallel planes, same distance apart all the way. And then after that, they're going to intersect. Now, transversal. The transversal is a line that intersects 2 or more coplanar lines. Okay, so I got in figure 1 here, I got a transversal T, and I've got it all listed out, transversal T. Okay, and I've got that nailed down. But now I'm going to do some stuff with it. Now, in or out, okay, or interior versus exterior. Interior These are all interior things. Exterior and exterior. Okay? To define something, because I've got it inside the lines and I got it outside, okay, or the exterior. Now that I've listed that, I want you to list the interior angles and I want you to list the exterior angles. Please, when you're listing angles, use the angle symbol, okay, when you name them. Go ahead. I'll give you time and we'll do interiors first and I'll expose the answers in 30 seconds. All right, the first ones, as we're going through, sorry, we should be looking at this here, and my exterior's there. How'd you do? Are we okay with what's interior, what's exterior? Now, here's the thing. Once you get interior, and you understand exterior, and you're recognizing the fact that I have a transversal that's going to cross two lines. The transversal is really the thing we're naming everything around, okay? So where an angle is positioned around its transversal, the transversal that we're working with, that's going to help me with my names. Alternate is going to be one of the words we use in this. Alternate is opposite sides or either side of the transversal. They alternate on either side. We're going to do alternate exteriors, 2 and 7, 1 and 8. We're going to do alternate interiors, 3 and 6 and 5 and 4. Okay, they're alternate. They're on either side of the transversal. Okay, and interior, they're on the inside of the lines of the transversal crosses. Exterior, they're on the outside of the lines of transversal crosses. Corresponding. I want you to think about corresponding as their position. If I were to lift this intersection of 1, 2, 3, 4 and place it on top of the intersection 5, 6, 7, 8, that 1 and 5 would correspond to each other because they're in the same relative position. They're in the top left corner. Okay. 2 and 6 correspond because they're in the top right of the intersections. Okay. 7 and 3 would correspond because they're in the bottom left of those two intersections. Okay. And 4 and 8, they're in the bottom right of those two intersections. So we got corresponding, and now in alternate interior, alternate exterior, now I want to talk about same side interior, or AKA consecutive interior angles. Okay. Well, they're on the same side. They're right here. 3 and 5 are same sides, and 4 and 6 are same sides. Okay. So those are the things we're going to be working on, and that's what we're going to be naming next. So as I go through, I talk about the interior angles, the alternate interiors on the next page. And keep in mind which angles I'm talking about here as I talk about it. I got 4 and 6. So I got 4 and 6 as alternate interior because they're on alternate sides of the transversal. Okay. And then my other one, as I go through, is 3 and 5. And perhaps we'll talk about angle 3. And angle 5, a little blur action there. But 3 and 5 are my other pair, okay? And those might alternate interiors because they're on the inside of those two lines where my transversal crosses them. In a like manner, when I'm talking about same side interiors, okay, just kind of as review of what we just talked about on the previous page, same side interior. They're on the same side of the transversal. They're on the inside of the lines that transversal crosses. So I'm looking at really 4 and 5 as I go through here. Again, I got 4 and 5 for this one. Okay, as I go around. And then, as I'm talking about them, I got 3 and 6. I'm going to use a different color here for 3 and 6. Okay, so 3 and 6 are here. But they're on the inside of the two lines that are crossed by the transversal, but on the same side of that transversal. Okay, same side interiors. So the words we use as their names are also describers of where all those angles should be, I hope. Okay, so we start making connections with that as we look at the diagram itself. The numbers will change throughout because I can place numbers on the diagram however I'd like, but the position of the angles themselves are all about where they're located next to the transversal. Questions about these? Okay, so now you guys are about to figure out that Bloom's got fat fingers. Okay, because what happened here in this next one, and you guys don't have the page, but you're supposed to have another diagram here right off of alternate exterior. I've got skills. I wiped that out when I went to print. So I apologize for that. So you guys could actually just sketch a diagram in right there across from your alternates and number them the same as we numbered every one, because all I did was copy the same diagram. For some reason, when I went and printed it, I didn't even notice I deleted it. So I apologize for that. But go ahead and put in, it's the same diagram that's previously on your page. I did it 3 times. I just didn't do a fourth. So just go ahead and put the fourth one in. It's identical to the previous 3. So it'll make it easier for you guys to like sketch it in. Number them the same, please. So that way we can talk about them. And I'll give you that time. They don't look that big, right? I mean, my fingers, I've got skill. And anything I do, my wife goes, here, look at my cell phone, and I'll do it. And I go, what am I looking at? This is like your home screen. She goes, how do you do that one? I don't know. I just touch technology. I'm just kind of surprised it works for me in class every day. Okay, so you ready? Okay, we got our sketch in. So now here's the deal. We're looking at corresponding. And remember, corresponding, they're in the same relative position of where the transversal intersects the other lines. Okay? So I've got the blues, I've got the greens, and I got the reds, and I've got the blacks. Okay? Same relative position. And I'll talk about it after everybody gets them down, because again, bless you. Now, keep in mind, same relative position. If I were to lift this intersection up and place it on top of this one, okay, then 1 and 5 would be in the same spot, relatively. And 2 and 6, 4 and 8, and 3 and 7. That's what makes corresponding angles. They do not have to have any relationship right now other than their relative position and for their name, okay? Questions about corresponding? And as we go through, we have alternate exterior angles and alternate exterior angles, and corresponding angles is CA. Corresponding angles would be CA as you're going in. But alternate exterior angles would be on the outside of where my transversal and lines meet. Okay, and because of the alternate, they're on either side of the transversal. So my first one is 1 and 7. And my next one is 2 and 8. And those are my alternate exterior angle pairs. Let me get that a little higher for people in the back there. Now, we have a self-quiz. Problem 2. Go ahead, see what you know. List them. the things I know. Which is a pair of alternate interior? Interiors are inside. They're alternate interiors. So I got 3 and 5 and 2 and 8. Okay? You okay with those? Alternate interiors. Remember, the more you read, the more you tap out where these things are located, the better they are, better off you are in recognizing them. Now remember, what I did to make this different is I just shifted my diagram 90 degrees. Okay, kind of mess with you. Same side interiors, okay? So if I'm talking same side interiors, I'm looking at 3 and 8 are on the same side, and 2 and 5 are on the same side. Okay, are you okay with that? My same side interiors. Corresponding, okay? My corresponding. If I were to look at these angles, and if I were just to number them, 1, 2, 3, and 4, I know they're there. I'm just going to bring them over. The corresponding angles, 5 and 1, 2 and 6, 4 and 8, and 3 and 7, the same relative position in the intersection. Okay, so that's what I did to figure out what my combinations were. And there isn't another combination. And also in this problem, I changed the numbers, so you can't just go follow the numbers of the previous ones. Okay. So know that as we're going through. It's not just copying the numbers, it's knowing the positions. My last one, if I'm talking about alternate exteriors, my alternate exteriors are 4 and 6, 1 and 7 as I go through. That's what I've got. Now, I don't have a book assignment on this. I'm still trying to hang on my book. I'm not sure if I'm happy with the worksheets. It seems like it's going okay, but just in case I want to go back. But know that we're done today, and that this assignment will take about 12 minutes, if that. After you're done with the assignment, the vocab on page 17 and 18 is available. Use your textbook, online text for that as you go through. Okay, and I do have a couple books in case you can't access things today. Questions? It's already, I've got most of it posted, but what you're seeing me video is, I won't have the videos already done, but I will video each day and get them posted each day. Okay? Sounds like a plan. I'll get those for you. Okay? All right. That's it for the video. Thank you, and you guys have a good day.